Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. I will someday figure out exactly when to hit the button to cut that intro song in half. Welcome to Finish Shit Friday. I'm trying to not curse, but, you know, why not curse right away? We are going to do the Mobula6 2024 mods that you should do when yours ships. I know a bunch of you have pre-ordered them. And there are some simple mods that you should do to prevent you from killing your camera, and we're gonna do that so that you don't kill your camera. It's basically just getting rid of the stupid G-string canopy, but while you're at it, you can either stick with the same camera, or you can go to the old school Runcam Nano 3, which will potentially save a little bit of weight. We're going to weigh everything. We're going to weigh the G-string canopy that it comes with. We're going to weigh the Mobula6 upside down ball sack canopy. We are going to weigh the FXT camera that it comes with, and we're going to weigh the Runcam Nano 3 from the previous generation. You're going to have to do a little bit of soldering, but yeah, such is life with FPV. You can get a Runcam Nano 3 in stock in a bunch of places, I believe, with bare wires. It is the NanoHawk replacement camera. The NanoHawk has the Runcam Nano 3 direct soldered on, so this is what you want, in my opinion, because the Mobula6 2024 is the camera is directly soldered, as are the motors. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna figure. I think that we can save even more weight. It's already under 18 grams. And the camera's heavy. The FXT camera that it comes with is kind of heavy. The stupid G-string canopy that it comes with is very lightweight. So I have a feeling that switching the camera, we're going to lose a little bit of weight with the camera, but we're going to gain a little bit of weight with the canopy. But I think the net change is going to be in the negative. The biggest thing, though, is that you're going to not destroy the camera or the quad. I have heard from a bunch of people that the stock camera and canopy die very quickly when you crash it really hard. I did not have that experience, and we battered the living hell out of this thing, but the way that I was crashing was very specific, right? I was trying to do that full, like, triple wall ride to corkscrew death dive down the stairs, and what I wasn't doing is slamming it completely inverted, right? Like, I was looking down. We were flying up to the wall. We were wall ride, knife edge, transition to the next wall, transition to the next wall, and then look down and corkscrew down the stairs. So all of the crashes were like kind of looking down like this. There were no crashes that were completely inverted. I tend to not crash completely inverted, but that's just me. The folks that have crashed this completely inverted have broken the camera as early as the first or second battery. So yeah, it's something that I definitely want to change. I was going to wait until this shit the bed to get a better idea of like how long it'll last, but this is a pretty good camera, so I don't necessarily want to destroy this camera. So let's get it out of here. Let's get it out of the G-string canopy. And for me, I'm going to put the Runcam Nano 3 on it. You can leave this camera. The camera that it comes with, the FXT camera, which is great. It looks really nice. It's got a great big lens on it. It will work in the old school Mobula6 canopy that's extremely strong. So if you get this camera into this canopy, it'll probably save the camera. The only thing, though, is that the camera will stick out a little bit. So if you center punch something absolutely perfect, you could smash the camera lens. So yeah, the switching it over to a Runcam Nano 3 is going to be incredibly durable, and that's what I'm going to sort of recommend. I'm also going to put it into a clear version of the frame because, clear things are fun. Because if you're going to change stuff, why not change things that don't need to get changed? Yeah. At the beginning of the live stream there, that extremely dark footage was this beautiful, beautiful little rig with the Batwing camera mount. This is a prototype version of the Batwing camera mount, and it's meant for analog cameras with the 18mm lens. I don't know. A lot of these analog cameras, like the BI, like the FXT, they have this size lens. I think it's 18mm. I could be wrong. And Timmons made a version of this mount to use that lens. This is like version 0.0001, and it totally works. There's a little bit of refinement that we need to do. Basically, I don't have it here, it's on the shelf, but the walk snail version of the Batwing perfectly pushes the camera into the frame, and then the TPU sits between pushes against the lens and the locking ring behind it. So you have like the lens is smashed into the TPU, and then the camera is smashed into the frame, and it makes it incredibly like locked in there. And the up tilt stays the same. There's no weirdness. This setup here, Timmons just took a shot in the dark at it, and what's happening is that the camera, see the gap here right behind the camera and the frame? We didn't realize it, but it's really important to push the camera into the frame to make it secure. With the camera hanging out here, it has a similar problem to the fractal frame, where the camera is just not totally solid. It's actually better as it is here than the fractal frame. With the fractal setup, the camera can rotate like 15-20 degrees. and it can just wobble up and down. It's just a hot mess. This is a much better setup already, and it'll get even better once we pull the camera in. And what's also looking like it's going to happen is that the front of the camera, I think, is going to tuck behind the ducts. So I think you're going to be able to run the Batwing as a full tilt freestyle setup and have a no duct in view, really lightweight freestyle setup. This Batwing mount is 0.6 of a gram. That is super, super, super light. And yeah, this is kind of wild that we might be able to actually freestyle with this, get all the benefits of no stupid carbon fiber, nice solidly mounted camera. Yeah, really, really cool. This thing flies so good. I only got 2.5 batteries in last night, before the guys that were there packed it up, and went home. I was trying to get this particular AIO. Something's going on with it. When I push on the AIO, the video clears up, and then when I let go on it, it goes back to super dark mode. And I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on with that before I left last night, and I took a little bit too much time. And then by the time I got there, everybody was they'd already done a bunch. But oh my god, it is. So I didn't get to head it with the old setup, but like immediately I could tell a difference. It's, I mean, you know, less thrust obstruction, lighter weight. It's wild. So on this guy, I would usually get like 2 minutes 50. If I stretched it, I could get like 3 minutes. On the second battery that I flew on this, it got 4 minutes and 20 seconds. I was like, what? Like, there was a point where I was like, is this, like, is this battery ever going to die? And I flipped on the OSD, and at that point, it was at 4 minutes, and I was like, no fucking way. And then I just kept flying, and then eventually I got a low battery warning, and I brought it in, and there it was, 420 for the runtime. So, yeah, the Batwing camera mount on the Cockroach V3, Cockroach 65 V3 is just bananas. I mean, it's better in every way, really. So yeah, we're gonna get these things. We need to refine this analog one. The walk snail one is pretty much done. There's one last thing that I asked Timmons to do, and then that file will be available. Not that many people have walk snail though, so I want to get the we'll make that one available for print and whatever. But I want this analog one to get like out of the 0.001 prototype phase. And then we're going to do a little 3D printing contest like what we did with the McStinkies. So as soon as we've got one or two of the analog ones perfected, the file's going to go up on my Discord in the 3D printing text channel, and you can join in on the 3D printing competition. You print a couple of these in whatever color you want, you send them to me, and then I just judge them based on the quality of the print. It's a very small print, and there's these little tiny lens protecting, they almost look like little flower petals, and that's going to be the main challenge for you guys. Everybody had a blast with the 3D printing contest we did last time, and yeah, should be fun this time as well. And then I'll have a whole bunch of these Batwings, and if you guys need them, or if you're ordering something off my Etsy store, like some stickers, you can put a note in and say, yo, send me a Batwing, bro. My balls are stuck to my inner thighs. And I can say, that's disgusting. I feel your pain. It's sweaty as fuck here in Atlanta. Look up Batwing on Urban Dictionary if you don't know what I'm talking about. In the chat, Sprout was first, Northern Tier was next, Scotty Scott, Cole Powers, Riot 9, Troy Prelog, Douglas Otwell, Matt Norton, Jay Deegs, Mick Mucus, Scotty Scott, Caden Brewster, Troy Prelog, Rob Axelson, Walter Van Den Ord, Stavel, Rob Axelson again, 661 FPV, Cole Powers, Just Mo, Riot 9, another trucking FPV channel, Kevin the Alien, Max Miner, Melner rather, Troy Prelog, Metal Dirt Skin, Kevin the Alien, Lucky, Rob Axelson, Beef FPV. That's a hell of a YouTube name. FPV Announcer, We Bleed FPV. What's up, Zotek? How are you, homie? Upside, Dead Chicken, Troy Prulog, Walter Van Den Ord, Simon, Riot 9, Bora, Recyclops. That's a fun name. Great Scott. What's up, friends? Thanks for hanging. Frank Nicholas messaged and said streaming tonight. Yep. Right now. There he is. Yeah. So there's a couple things that have been going on. I'm gonna go back and chase those little guys Thursday of next week, a little bit earlier, and then I can get you an actual side-by-side on these two. But I mean, it's very obvious. It is very, 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 very obvious. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna bother. I've flown this a bunch. I know everything about it. It was super obvious last night that this thing is just better in every way. It's way lighter. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, super obvious. Let's do we'll do a flight time comparison here on the stream as a part of our 6 batteries tonight. I'll limp them around. I'll run the racetrack, and yeah, we'll take a look at a more of a head-to-head runtime comparison between these two. And then that'll be that. I'm going to pull this apart. This AIO is just shot. There's something going on with the VTX or the OSD chip. So this AIO needs to come out, and I'm going to replace it with the AIO that's in this and pull this apart. And I won't have to deal with fractal frames anymore, which will be great because, man, they're annoying. So, yeah, happy days, my friends. Happy effing days. When we do when we solder on the camera to this, I'm going to give you guys a couple of soldering tips. We've got some new folks that have been... I can tell that we've got some new folks that are trying to get into FPV without soldering, and I want to help you with that. I want to show you how easy it is and give you some super simple tips so that you don't have to be afraid of it. I was terrified of it myself when I got into this hobby, and now I can solder like a motherfucker. It's not super hard. There's some really basic tips and tricks that make it totally doable. Yeah, you can do it, and I can help you out with that. So let's dive into some soldering stuff together, and I'll make your life a lot easier. On this particular rig, we're going to be desoldering and then resoldering 3 30-gauge wires. So on this, you'll get to see soldering tiny little wires to pads, most likely to pads. Maybe not. No, it's the little pockets on the side of the board. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we'll do that. And then maybe we can also do this guy here. I need to swap out the BT 2.0 lead. These are 26 gauge. I think these are like 26 gauge. It might be 24. Is that a 4 or a 6? That's a 2. 22 gauge wires to through holes, I believe. Yeah, should be through holes on this. Is this the X12? Should be the X12. Stavo with a $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, new fund Friday. Close out that every Whoop camera fund. Sounds good, dude. Kevin Sumner has got all the cameras. And he's doing his own testing, which is amazing. Where is it? There it is. And there it is. Thank you, brother. Next fund is going to be a, like, every 75 millimeter motor fund. So I maybe I should have changed the fund over a while ago, but we've got these iFlight 1002s. We've got the Flywoo 1002s, the RC and Power 1002s. Speaking of, Getfpv got back to me, and I messaged them. I said, hey, my order hasn't shipped. It's been a week. What's happening? And they got back to me and they said, yeah, you ordered 4 of the RC and Power 1002s, but we only have 3 in stock. So it triggered a back order, and then that puts your entire order on hold. They'll be here in 3 weeks. We can remove the last motor and just ship your stuff. Sorry if the website's a little confusing. So pay attention to that. I'm not loving the situation here because I really need the frame that's in that order. So that kind of sucked. But yeah, be careful of that. If you it warns you when this is as much my fault. I don't think that they should do that. I don't think that they should let it sit on back order for 3 weeks. That's kind of silly to me. I think that it should just not let you check out with the last item. Like, that's how everybody else's websites work. Like, if you put 4, like in this case, I tried to order 4, but there's only 3 in stock. When you hit checkout on every other site that I know of, it removes the 4th item and changes your quantity to 3, and it gives you a warning. Hey, we removed one of your items. And yeah, Getfpv's site does not do that. It just sits it in back order, and it tells you. And I probably saw it, but I probably thought like, oh, okay, so they'll remove the 4th one. Unfortunately, everybody else is sold out of that motor. Rotor in the color that I want, which is the blue and teal. Rotor Riot has it in stock in orange. And I guess I'm just going to order 2 of them in orange, or I can get them from eBay, but it's like $18 or $19 just for one. So that feels kind of insane. Hold on, guys. My nose is just absolutely betraying me. Hang on. There's a betrayal afoot. Hang on. Hang on. All right. Whoa. Okay. We're good. It's fine. Everything's okay. Woo. Hey, look at this. Possibly E6000 to the rescue. I showed you guys last time that the arm was starting to come apart here, right? So what I did is I squirted a whole bunch of E6000 into the seam, and then I used masking tape to like seal it all up, and it's been pretty much 24 hours. So let's see how it did. All right, come on, get out of there. Okay, not bad. I'm gonna get rid of these little boogers here, but yeah, man, that's not bad at all. That's probably gonna be fine. I might hit it again. I might put a little bit in here. Oh man, it looks worse than it actually is on the stream. But yeah, I'm gonna debooger this, and hopefully it won't bother me. It cracked right here, and that's what has like a sharp edge on it, and that's what's like stabbing me and annoying the hell out of me. But yeah, shit, yo, E6000, as always, the best stuff. All right, so that's some of the stuff that's going on. How you like me now? This is my full-time job. CiottiFPV.com has a million ways you can support me. Patreon is the best. But there's also an Etsy store with some fun stickers and hardware. There's a Fiverr page where you can work one-on-one with me if you want to spend a half an hour or an hour just hammering me with questions, or if you want me to walk you through some stuff. I can get you flying better in the simulator. I can get you building better by talking about what your goals are, what kind of a build you're looking to do, and then I will hand pick the individual items for you so that you stop buying AIOs that catch on fire or just don't run right. And then I can help you tune as well if you have an unruly rig, or if you just want to learn how to tune, because it's not that difficult, but it does take someone that has a little bit of intelligence to explain it. So definitely don't try to learn on Facebook groups. And then there's also a Teespring page where you can get some fun shirts. A whole bunch of affiliate links over there as well. It's 2024. If you're doing an order on the internet, someone has an affiliate link to that website that's creating fun content that you like to watch on YouTube or elsewhere. So use an affiliate link. Change all your bookmarks over to somebody's affiliate links. Change your auto suggestions in your web browser to be someone's affiliate links. It doesn't affect you in any way. They get a slight kickback, 1 to 6% of your total order. It makes a massive difference. It is free money to help people keep making cool shit for you to watch, and to help people test more stuff for you to then spend or not spend your money on. It makes a big difference. Try to use affiliate links every time you do an order on the internet. Everybody has Amazon affiliate links, and I know damn well you're ordering from Amazon. So change your Amazon bookmark or URL bar recommendation to someone's affiliate link, anyone, so that every time you check out on Amazon, somebody's affiliate link is in there. It's huge. In the chat, if you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV like Rob Axelson did. He said, hola, at the Battery in Atlanta, opening game for the Braves. Man, you can keep this traffic. Yeah, it's true. Rob Axelson says, and no, I didn't bring any quads. What are you doing after the game? Cole Powers says, all I heard was finish it Friday. Just Mo says, are you going to see the eclipse? I'm not. I don't think it's coming through here. I got to see it 4 or 5 years ago when it came through Charleston, and it was just the coolest thing ever. So, like, I'm good for another 5 years or whatever. Kevin the Alien says they're running a new firmware. Oh, Kevin the Alien says some of the new Runcam Nano 3s suck. They're running a new firmware per Runcam themselves. Interesting. Troy Prelak says I have a new Runcam Nano 3, really dark image and purple tint. I know I'm not the only one. I've seen the purple tint before. Interesting. I'm gonna pay more attention to that because I have a bunch of them. So we'll do a little camera. Well, when Kevin Sumner's is done with all the cameras, especially now that this is good to go, we're gonna have a live stream where we test all of the cameras. On that live stream, we will test a bunch of Runcam Nano 3s. To see if we can find one that looks like hell, one that looks good, that kind of thing. And yeah, I've got a bunch of them now. I've even got this one that we're going to solder up today, which is meant for the tiny hawk. Tiny hawk, I think. Betteritson says, am I going to be glad I got a bunch of the OG Mobula6 canopies? I guess we'll see. You are. Yeah, the old school upside down ball sack Mobula6 canopy is God. It's incredibly lightweight. I've only broken one, and I've just pounded the hell out of them. The one that I broke was at Micro Mayhem at Rampage last year, and it was just repeated, like 20 to 30 foot crashes into metal grates. And it was like, there was a point where it was like, how the hell has this not broken? And then it finally did break, but it still held the camera totally fine, and it still like did its job. It was just broken and it looked like hell, and I changed it out because they're like $3. But yeah, the old school Mobula6 canopies are unbelievable. I've not found a canopy that can even remotely touch them, and they're super lightweight. Rob Axelson says National Anthem and Fly Over, effing awesome. Very cool. We're getting a play-by-play on a baseball game. That's fun. Walter says, show us. Where did the timestamps go? I want timestamps. Give me timestamps. There we go. At 7:20, Walter said, show us. I don't know what I was talking about. Maybe I was talking about the Batwing? I'm not sure. Right 9 says, is the ball sack canopy the McStinky? It is not, because that might be the funniest thing I've heard in FPV. No, the ball sack canopy is it's the ball sack canopy, man. It's, you know. Look at it. It's carrying a little egg around. I didn't design it, man. I'm not the enemy here. Scotty Scott says, what about a Batwing for the new HD ECO? Timmons seems interested in making the versions of the Batwing for a bunch of different cameras. So if if we can get him or me, an HD ECO camera, yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to design it. One of the existing ones, well, this one actually, I believe the HD ECO uses this standard lens size. So depending on the depth, this one might actually already work. We might already have a Batwing for the HD ECO, but yeah, as we get it more and more dialed in, we'll figure that out. At this point, the lens diameter is figured out. We just need to figure out the setback, how far to push it back to get the camera braced up against the frame itself, because that's where a lot of its kind of strength comes from. But the other thing that we're going to need to figure out is that on the walk-snail camera, like I said, you've got the lens, and then you've got a bigger part of the lens, which is the locking ring. So the TPU of the Batwing pushes right up against the locking ring, and then it pushes the whole camera against the frame. So it's incredibly rigid there. On most of these other cameras, they don't have the lock ring. So in theory, just setting it back and pushing the camera against the frame will be enough. I think it will. I think it'll be fine to do that. But there's a chance that he'll have to run like little outriggers or something off the back of it to brace the TPU against the board, so that the camera is sandwiched between the frame and the TPU mount. Because I want it to be like ultra rigid. But I crashed the shit out of this thing last night, and it was completely fine. Crashed it hard enough to knock the antenna off. Haven't bent up any propellers yet, but yeah, I crashed it pretty good a bunch of times last night, and it was completely fine. The camera stayed straight. It has not rotated at all. So yeah, in theory, it's kind of already fine, but I would rather sort of over-design it than under-design it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But I think that the Batwing will work on damn near everything. We just need to put some finishing touches on it and get it out into the world, and yeah, away we shall go. I've got a mess over here. I gotta get this straightened out a little bit. So yeah, that's what's going on with the old Batwing. That's what's going on with my Batwing. Yikes. What else is happening in chat? Bora says, you promised to explain how you get no OSD, but low voltage warning, I get no OSD on button. But I get, yeah, I got you, brother. I'll show you on the Mobula6 2024. I have this set up on most of my rigs. It is easier than you'd think. So, there's a tab in Betaflight called Adjustments, and that's the magic missing link. But you also do have to set the specific OSD elements that you want into specific OSD profiles, and that's the other thing that people like don't know really exists. So in the OSD menu, I'm going to show you in a second, whenever Betaflight chooses to actually work, there are 3 different OSD profiles in there, and so you're going to make one OSD profile that's your clean OSD that only has warnings, and then the other 1 or 2 OSDs, you're going to put all of your elements in there. And then in the adjustments menu, you're going to be able to set it up so that a 3-position switch switches between OSD profile 1, 2, and 3. And so wherever you want it to be clean, that's where you're going to set it up. I don't understand what's happening with my nose. It's just completely lost it. Okay, so the easy way to do it where you don't get any warnings is in the Modes tab, and there's this right here, OSD Disable. So you can put OSD Disable on whatever you want, aux2, this switch position, and then in this switch position on aux2, you will get no OSD. This is how I did it for the longest time. The only problem with that is that with no OSD, you have no idea where your battery is at. So with that setup, you will hammer your batteries because, yeah, you won't know what the voltage is. You won't have any warnings. So this other method is way, way, way better. So make sure that's turned off. If you've already been using that, make sure it's turned off. And then you're going to come in here to adjustments. If you don't have this adjustments option, it's because enable expert mode is not checked. Just leave this checked. Yeah, you guys are experts now. Just leave this checked all the time. But if you look over here at adjustments, it goes away. So if I was like in motors, you're like, where the hell's the adjustments at? You gotta enable expert mode, and now you've got your adjustments. Here's how it works. This is what it looks like from default. So you're gonna click this switch to enable the first one. You're gonna choose whichever switch, whichever 3-position switch you want to use, and then this is gonna be closed up like that. So you need to open this range all the way up. And then you want to select OSD profile selection here. And then you want to check that same aux channel, whatever that aux channel may be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So for me, it's aux 2, OSD profile selection, and then full range because I'm putting it on a 3-position switch. And that's all you need to do here. Then you hit save. Then you come into your OSD tab, and this is the only other thing you need to do. So here are all 3 OSD profiles, profile 1, profile 2, profile 3. So for me, the switch position all the way towards me triggers OSD profile 3. And as you can see, I have nothing turned on in OSD profile 3 until I get all the way to the bottom where warnings are. And that's it, my friends. Warnings is the only thing that's on OSD profile 3, so it's the only thing that'll show. And as long as you don't have any weird warnings that, flash the entire time you're flying, all you'll get is your low battery warning. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Put the rest of your OSD stuff on profiles 1 and 2 here. And so when you have the switch in the middle or up position, I got to unplug this because it's starting to stink from ELRS getting hot. Yeah, that's it. So for me, you don't have to do it this way, but this is aux 2 for me. This is the switch that goes from horizon mode in case I lose video and I just need to self-level it to acro and acro, right? Middle switch and down switch are both just acro. All the way up is horizon. And so all the way up is switch position 1, OSD profile 1. In the middle is profile 2. Bottom is profile 3. So if I want clean OSD, I pull this switch all the way down. If I want to see the OSD real quick, I just go up to the middle and then I pull it back down. And that's it. Super simple. Clean OSD with warnings. When your battery is getting low, you'll know about it. Make sure that your low battery warnings are set properly, right? For tiny whoops, you want to drop the voltage down a little bit to like 3.1, 2.9. But most of the time it's already set up there. If you've been getting low battery warnings, you don't even have to think about it. It's working. If you haven't been getting low battery warnings, you should investigate that, because the whole point of doing this is so that you can get those. Otherwise, if you're not going to use the low battery warnings, just use the OSD disable in the modes tab and you're good to go. That's how you do it, my friends. Please do that. I'm sick and tired of looking at your analog footage with the OSD in it. Nobody wants to see that OSD. Nobody. Do it, my friends. Hockey Rounds with a $2 super chat. Thank you, homie. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? He says, happy birthday to my wife, Carrie. Happy birthday to your wife, Carrie. Hockey Rounds. Thank you for your generosity, my man. Thank you for reminding me, Bora. Any chance I have to show that, I will, because I've never seen anybody do it before, and it's really easy to do, and it's really handy. Like, for real, nobody wants to see your OSD elements. If you're going to fly for footage, turn that shit off. Here's the secret. When your OSD is off, you're just going to focus on flying. So in the moment that you're like, all right, cool, I'm warmed up, I'm going to fly for some cool footage here with my analog rig, you turn your OSD off and you'll fly better. Because you're just concentrating on flying. You're not second-guessing your voltage. You're not second-guessing your RSSI, your link quality, any of that nonsense. You're just going to fly. And then when it's time to come home, your warnings are going to come on. And you can even set up a warning for low RSSI, low link quality, and stuff like that. So like, you can really have your warnings set up to tell you everything that you really kind of need in the OSD. If you're testing something, yes, it's great to have the OSD on. But if you're flying for the sake of flying, or trying to get a good chunk of footage, your OSD should kind of be off to let you focus a little bit more. Controversial, whatever. Walter says, I'm hanging on over here. What are you hanging on? What are you hanging on to? Matt Norton says, please do some 75mm 1S and 2S. I'm working on building a 2S for outside if the snow ever stops in Maine. If I have to do 2S, I will. But I don't want to do 2S because the weight is going to go completely out of control. So yeah, 2S is an absolute last resort because the 2S batteries are just so heavy. The smallest 2S battery that's going to perform half decent is going to be 2S 300 mAh, so 600 mAh total, right? Because it's two 300 mAh cells. That is going to be rough. That is going to be quite a bit heavier than a 1S 450, which has plenty of runtime. So yeah, I'm avoiding 2S at all costs. But if I have to do it, I'll do it. I'm actually talking to VCI right now about an 0803 motor that they've got. They've got it's not actually an 0803, it's like an 08028. It's an 0803. 27,000 kV. Unfortunately, it's only a 1mm motor shaft. So I've asked them, like, hey, is there any chance of getting this in 1.5 mil? If not, I'm going to get it anyway. And I've heard that Happy Models man, this is brutal. Apparently, Happy Models, the metal that they use for their motor shafts is not very strong. And so other motor manufacturers' 1mm motor shafts are actually strong enough. I don't think they're strong enough for me. I think they're strong enough for people that don't crash, or at least don't crash hard or often. But we're gonna find out. I just can't do it. Eventually, in theory, it'll stop. But I can't do it. It's tickling my nose. Ah! I don't want you guys to have to listen to me sniffling and snorting. Come on, man. Stop! Stop it, nose! No reason for this. I went outside to, like, check the fucking mail. I specifically stayed inside and filtered air. Come on. MB Steez says, do you have experience with Speedy Bee's app? This much. I bought a quad from a buddy, and the app wants me to reset the password, but got to disconnect, reconnect Bluetooth on their F7. Anyone know how? I've used the app before, but it didn't give me any weirdness like that. You can probably just message Speedy Bee. Look them up on Instagram or Facebook and shoot them a message. I bet you they'll get back to you, and I bet you they'll just fix you up real quick. I think they also have a Discord if you want to try that route. But yeah, Speedy Bee is a company that's like with it, and they're making stuff right now, so they probably have somebody that's looking at their messages, and they'll probably get back to you pretty quick. None of these companies are big enough that they won't get back to you, right? It's not like Facebook where they just don't care about anyone, and they will let your entire business burn because they've banned you for absolutely no reason. These are smaller companies that actually care about their customers, and so yeah, you can message them and they'll usually get back to you pretty quick. Freelojo putting the Patreon link in the chat. Thank you, dude. Walter says they're going to change ideal payment system so soon. I joined Patreon, I hope. Well, I can't wait for you to join, brother. There's some really cool stuff that you'll get access to. It's slick. Stavel says, pretty sure you answered this, but are you going to Rampage? I am indeed, considering on going my first time this year. Yep, they are comping me tickets so that I can come out and set Micro Mayhem up and hang out in Micro Mayhem for the majority of the event. So yeah, I will certainly be there. I'd love to see any and all of you that can make it out. A little bit of I'm not gonna get I'm gonna give you 30 seconds here. Dead Cell seems to hate Rotor Riot as much as Bot, which is fine. You guys do you. But they went on a bit big. They went on a bit of a tirade against Rampage, and they got some of the prices wrong. And I don't know. They like, to me, they're letting their hatred for Rotor Riot kind of cloud their vision a little bit. And Joshua actually called them on it. And so, yeah, Joshua has a little reacts to video that he put out last night. And I thought he was pretty much dead on the money. Like, look, I get it. I totally get it. Rotor Riot's made some really weird decisions in the past. I don't love the way that they treated Bot. But Rampage is an amazing event. And the fact that it exists is wild. GTI, that facility that they put it on, that they hosted at, is obviously extremely expensive. It's a huge site, and it's a site that they use to train government agencies. So think about that, right? Like, they're training government military entities there. People with pretty much infinite money, right? Like, our defense budget in this country is higher than, I think, the entire rest of the world's combined. So, like, infinite money, right? And then we're going to try to put on an FPV. Like, FPV is a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche within, right? And, like, so, yeah. They're normal people that rent that facility out, have infinite money. So, obviously, a massive facility that has that kind of a customer base, they can charge whatever the hell they want. So obviously it's extremely expensive to book this place for multiple days, right? That, like, Rotor Riot books it for, I think, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So of course it's going to cost them a fortune to rent the spot out. And so, yeah, the tickets are expensive. Absolutely they are. But if you look at, like, any tickets to anything at this point, they're all really expensive, right? Like, try to go to a music festival for one day. You're going to spend $400, $500, $600 like that for one single day, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Like, look, I'm the type of emotional lunatic that if I feel very strongly about something, absolutely, it will cloud my judgment. And I will say stupid stuff. So, like I get it, and I'm not mad at anybody, but yeah, that's the current controversy. If you want some FPV drama, there you go. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Joshua was dead on the money. Rampage is a great event. If you can afford to go, you should go. It's awesome. You will meet a ton of really cool people. You will hang out with people that you never thought you would meet in person before. You will meet your FPV heroes. You will get to chase drift cars. You will get to fly Micro Mayhem, which is the coolest indoor spot ever. And there's a whole bunch of other really cool spots there. And so, yeah, it's a great event. We're very lucky that it exists. I can't believe that it exists, to be really honest. And, yeah, it's wild. So, there you go. That's all I have to say about that. I still love Bot Grinder. I always will. Stavel says, nope, Freelojo says, what is yesterday's tomorrow? Today. Biochi says, could you recommend a flight controller AIO for 1S 75mm Happy Model X12? At the moment, Happy Model X12 is the only game in town. It's a little bit overkill for a 1S 75mm rig. You really don't need the 12 amp FETs on the ESC. At some point, the Happy Model Super X, the new Mobula6 ELRS AIO, will be available, and that'll be the one that I recommend. But yeah, at the moment, the X12 is the way to go. Simon says, I finally broke an OG canopy a little bit above the camera. Yep, that's where they break. Glued it and cracking on. Yep, at least 1,000 packs before it broke. It's a unicorn. It is indeed. And yeah, you can absolutely E6000 the Mobula6 canopy back together, and it'll probably never break beyond that. So yeah, do it. Upside down ball sack canopy for the win, as usual. Metal Nerdson says, I noticed there are some old Mobula6 canopies that don't have the front screw mount. Yep. But the new ones do. Wonder if it makes any real weight/strength difference. Weight difference is super minimal. It's like fractions of a gram. Strength difference, for sure. Having that front connection point absolutely ties the frame together a little bit. Does it actually make a difference in like the filters and shit like that? I doubt it. But it's there. It's doing something. It's not doing anything bad. And what's interesting with certain builds, like the walk snail builds, is that you actually have to remove that front connection point, because on the walk snail VTX, the UFL it just conflicts with that front camera point. So the first walk snail build I did, I used the old canopy that I had that didn't have the front connection point mounted into it. And then the next two walk snail builds that I did, I actually had to cut that front point out. So yeah, all of the new Mobula6 canopies will come with 4 attachment points. If you don't want or can't have that front one, you can just take just cut it off. You'll see. Walter says, yes, you spoke about the soup frame, 4-minute flight. It will Beto late. I have to go to bed from mom. I'm 53. I don't think there's a question in there, Walter, but you're my boy, Blue. Hockey Rounds, thanks again for the $2 super chat, and happy birthday to his wife, Carrie. Striker says, what's up? Striker also says, my arm switch on my FR Sky X9 Lite literally broke off. I really didn't want to upgrade because I already have ELRS module, and I got it for free when I started from Homey. Guess it's Boxer time. Or you can just get a replacement switch. They're like $3. You should be able to Google it. FR Sky replacement arm. Was it the arm switch that let go? Arm switch. Yep. There you go. Yeah, everybody still sells them. Getfpv has them. I've ordered them from AMAS? Aloft. I've ordered them from Aloft before. I know that they have them. Wow, last time I looked, it was like Getfpv and Aloft, and that was it. Now they're all over the damn place. Progressive RC, eBay even, Amazon, what? Okay. You're going to have to solder, but it's easy. You'll be all right. Team Legit? I wonder if they're legitimate. Do you see what I did there? Yeah, just get a replacement switch. I can't recommend that anybody spend hundreds of dollars on a new transmitter that doesn't do anything of value over your current transmitter. If your current transmitter doesn't fit in your hands well, I'm down. But if your current transmitter is comfortable to you, if you can get the sticks into all 4 corners, you know, a color screen is not gonna accomplish anything until they put a VTX in there, or a VRX in there, I should say. Having ELRS built in is cool, I guess, but like there are so many other things that you could spend a couple $100 on that'll actually make a difference. Let you fly, you know, help you learn better, help you fly more. So yeah, if you have a transmitter that works for you, that's comfortable, just stick with it. There's very little benefit to any of these new transmitters. I have a really hard time recommending any transmitter other than the QX7 because it's so cheap. And then you throw a module in it and away you go. But I guess some of the new ones are pretty cheap as well. And if you can get one with ELRS built in, you don't have to run a module, that's kind of cool. But yeah, if you already have one that with a module that works for you, just stick with it, in my opinion. Simon says, more V3 frames on your Newbie Drone affiliate. Hopefully it works. Glad I remembered the affiliate. But I forgot again to collect my free frame code that I won. But more are on the way to the UK. Thank you for remembering, Simon. That's very cool of you. Much appreciated. Walter says, I think the motor axles would be an easy spare part. If you bend it, put in another. It's tough, man. The to switch the motor bell. I mean, just switching the shaft is a nightmare because it's just unrealistic. Switching the motor bell is more realistic, but the C-clip that holds it on is a real bastard, and it's so easy to lose it, and it's just a pain in the ass to get it off and on in general. I don't really see, and nobody sells replacement motor bells. So yeah, realistically, the motors just need to be strong enough. Striker says, at a friend's house, sorry I couldn't stay for long. Have a nice Friday. You as well, my friend. McMucus says, happy Friday. I know California Phantom casually. Dude is cool. He came to my work and gave me a DJI FPV. Holy smokes. CA Phantom. I don't know who that is. CA Phantom. I'm not sure who that is. Metaderson says, in lieu of a long rant, I will just say this. Get your ass to West Coast Throwdown. I'm trying, man. Believe me. I want to get there. It's just, that is, of all the freestyle FPV events, that's going to be the most expensive for me, right? And yeah, it's a little tight around here. So that's the one that continues to, yeah, fall through. This year, Rampage for sure, because they're comping my ticket and I can drive there. Castle Crash for sure, because, again, I can drive there. If possible, West Coast Throwdown, but realistically, I doubt it. Next year, I think things will be a little bit different, and I really hope to be able to get there next year. Maybe things will be different, because I think West Coast Throwdown is towards the end of the year, and yeah, there's some stuff cooking. But I'll bet you that I miss it again this year. Riot9 says, yesterday's tomorrow was to say today's date in the stream. Today is April 5th, Friday. Thank you, dude. Cool. Here we go. What should we do first? Fly or... What did I put in the stream description? Anything interesting? Nah, we're good. Let's dive into the Mobula6 2024 stuff, because it's actually kind of important that you fix this, because if you blow up the camera, it's just stupid. Don't blow up the camera. Switch the canopy when you get it to a proper canopy, and your life will get infinitely better. C922 focus. Oh shit balls! It's not the 922. It's the 920. You know what's interesting is it has stopped flickering, which is weird. Turn the autofocus off and on, and now hopefully it'll work. Yeah, there it goes. All right, cool. I am Ian Bennett says, bought a newbie drone. Should I replace the camera? If so, to what? You should not. The camera that they use is one of the best. The BI camera is great. Do not replace it. It also works really well with their unique OSD chip. So yeah, don't replace it. You will be disappointed. All right, so Mobula6 2024. The hell? There we go. Trying to give you guys as little crotch as possible. All right. Hold on. Let me move the chat over. We're gonna do a bunch of bench work today, so I might as well move the chat over so that I can see it. There we go. All right. So, Mobula6 2024. I'm putting it into a new frame, so we got to take it all the way apart. Should I pull these propellers? Nah, these are fresh props, and I think I can sneak them through the frame. So, let's do that first. Let's get the motors out of here. And first things first, let's see if the hole in the frame is big enough for the motor to sneak out of there with the propeller on. So these motors are direct soldered, which is a real pain in the ass. And so we might actually need to pull the propellers off to do this, because, yeah, I think we're going to have to. But let me just try to see if I can maybe wedge it. No. Well, I can just bend. I mean, these propellers are pretty bendy, so I can just do that. There we go. All right, so we're fine. We'll leave the props on. This is a fresh set of propellers. with tiny whoops in general, if you don't have to unscrew something, don't unscrew something. If you don't have to remove a propeller, don't remove a propeller. It's not that they're fragile, it's that you're gonna do this a bunch. You know, they are fragile. You're using the smallest screws. You've got the least amount of threading in the stator bases. So yeah, even if you're not over tightening this stuff, it's gonna wear really quickly. So if you've got a tiny whoop and you take it all the way apart and put it all the way back together 30, 40 times, stuff is going to start to strip out. And that's just annoying. And there's just kind of no reason to do that. So, yeah, don't just pull it apart for the sake of pulling it apart. Wait until you've got two things to upgrade on it, and then pull it apart one time to make the two upgrades. You know what I mean? Just be in the mindset of, let me try to not pull this thing apart unless I absolutely have to. And then if you have to, you pull it apart. But ideally, you can leave it together as much as possible, and then everything will last a little bit longer. Man, this is a game of Jenga here to get these motors through this frame with these props on. So I'm actually going to bail, and I'm just going to pull the props off. Even pulling the propellers off is really hard on the motor shaft. So do it as infrequently as you possibly can, and it'll make your motors last a little bit longer. Yikes. All right, so we're going to use the clone popper. And if you do have to remove propellers, try not to twist them. Try to use a prop popper. Prop poppers will literally save your motors. The way that they pull up on the propeller is just way better than the way that you can do it by hand. In this case, though, I need to create a tiny little gap to get the clone popper in there. And so that's what I was doing there by hand. I was being lazy with that first one that I pulled the prop off. But yeah. Get your hands on a clone popper or a prop popper. They're both on tinywhoop.com. The price that you pay for one of these tools will be offset the first time that you don't destroy a motor because you put a propeller on that was too tight. The other solution that I have for you to not ruining your motors is a pin vise that I'm selling for $40. You can PayPal me $40 with your address and say, yo, send me a pin vise. This is what a double pin vise looks like. This is very similar to what you're going to get. On one side, there is a 0.99 millimeter drill bit. On the other side, there's a 1.5 millimeter drill bit. You very quickly run your propeller down these drill bits. It removes just the right amount of plastic. You take it off, and now your propeller will hold on to the motor shaft just right. Not too hard, not too loose. You'll stop ruining motors. You'll save your fingies. It's all good things, yo. So do it. Get yourself a pin vise with some drill bits on it. And you might not even need a prop popper. It's really nice to have one still, to be honest. Having both... Slightly drilling out the propellers and using the prop popper, you will stop ruining motors, and that's really like the way to go for sure. Duck says, looking to make a freestyle 65mm, but I quite like the idea of a pinch camera. What mount / canopy could you recommend since it doesn't fit in the Mobula6 canopy? You're correct, it does not. On tinywhoop.com, they have two different mounts that are great. One of them is called the pound mount. I forget what the other one's called. There's nothing wrong with those mounts, but there is arguably an even better mount called the McStinky over on Thingiverse, which you can download and have somebody print, or if you don't know anybody with a 3D printer, I have a whole bunch of them. You can order like a sticker or two from me, and I'll send you one. If you want a link to the McStinky, you can just go to my website here, scroll down, There's a link to my Thingiverse favorites. Hit that. And then there it is, the McStinky, made by K-Bar. That's where you can get the file. There's a version of it for the pinch cam in there, you'll see. There's many different versions of it, but if you look in the summary, he's got them all broken out here. Here you go. So you would want just the regular old McStinky. It's called the McStinky in the files. Tiny Whoop Pinch. There you go. A couple different options for you. That's what it looks like. Cool. All right. Denzel the Terrible says, sorry I'm late, but I cannot miss Jeopardy. Is Jeopardy still in the air? Good for them. Kevin the Alien says, I replaced a motor on the 24 Mob 6 last night, and it was actually really easy on this board. Yeah, the solder pads, I have noticed, are separated. They're nice and far apart. What gets me is having to take everything apart to switch a motor. Like, to realistically, to switch a motor, you have to do everything that I'm doing here. And that's a super big pain in the ass. And you're going to strip the stators out on your motors doing this over and over and over again. So, yeah, those are some of the main reasons that I think motor plugs are the way to go. But if you want to save weight, you direct solder. 10-second runtime says, would the RC Empower 22,000 kV 1003s be okay on a 2G4 Mobula board for a 1S Baby Turtle? What prop size would be best on that setup? 40mm, 45, or 45? They should be okay. I don't know. I haven't run those motors yet. I have a set on the way, actually. I have heard that those motors are really heavy, which makes sense. 1003 is a pretty big stator volume. And then what size propeller? I don't know. I don't have any experience with that frame or builds like that. Easy button is to always run the biggest propeller that'll fit, because it's going to make more power and it's going to have more efficiency. But and so that's where I would start. I would start with whatever the biggest propeller is, and then if you find that it's too floaty, you can move to a smaller propeller, and that'll help with the floatiness. You'll lose a little bit of power, you'll lose a little bit of efficiency, but you might get better flight dynamics, and that's what's most important. Luckily, propellers are incredibly inexpensive, so I would just get all of the propellers that will fit, as well as one size down from that. You'll spend like $20 whole getting a whole bunch of different props, and then you'll test them, and it's just a really good experience to kind of test propellers and run them on different ones and try to feel the difference. You might not be able to feel the difference because it is pretty subtle, but it is there. So keep flying them. Eventually you'll be able to feel the difference. Along the way, it's, like I said, really good practice, and you'll learn a lot trying different props. The Mobula6 2024 is free of its factory frame that it came with. I'm going to hang on to this in case I break the clear frame. But yeah, we got to run the clear frame because we're running the clear canopy. Right? All right, so I'm actually going to pull this propeller off here because it's a pain in the ass to get it back into the frame with it on there. So let me just lift this up. Come on. Get in there. Get in there, little fella. There it goes. Hey. All right. Cool. So, before we put it in the frame, though, we got some soldering to do of the camera. So I'm going to use the little Omni Fixo here. I'm making a concerted effort to use this little Omni Fixo. I like it. It's fine. I don't think it really saves me any time, but it is a really nice piece of gear. And for somebody that's new to soldering, it could definitely help. Again, this camera that the Mobula6 2024 comes with will fit in the canopy that we're going to, the old school Mobula6 canopy. But I'm trying to save some weight here, and I want to weigh a bunch of this stuff. So I'm going to take it right out. Rather than putting it into the canopy, I'm just going to desolder it because I've decided that I want to stick with the Runcam Nano 3. If you don't, that's totally fine. No wrong answers there. But yeah, in the interest of weighing all this stuff and the fact that all of my other rigs are on the Runcam Nano 3s, so I want to have as much parity as possible between them, I'm going to remove it. And so let's see if I can find a good spot to clamp this OmniFixo on. That looks as good as any. And then see if I can get a spot on this side somewhere, maybe right here. Yeah, that's pretty solid. All right, cool. So 5 soldering tips, my friends. Tip number 1, run your iron at 700 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot enough for big wires. It's not too hot for small wires. You're going to be fast with small wires. You're going to be a little bit slower with big wires, and that's totally fine. There's this constant question of, like, what's the right temperature? You can argue all day about which temperature, but I've been using 700 forever, and it's like a perfect middle area. So that's tip number 1. AJ Farrer with a $5 super chat. He says, just made it to the stream. Here's my 5 for being late. Thank you, dude. Thank you for supporting the insanity. So there's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to get your palms down on the desk. I'm going to... Oh, boy. One of the things I don't like about this OmniFixo is that it's very magnetized. And so when you move it around your desk, it ends up picking up all the screws, which is, like, definitely not the end of the world. But I've had this situation twice now where I think that I've lost a screw, but it's just on the underside of the OmniFixo. So, yeah. Get your palms down on the desk like this. Do not solder up here. If you're soldering up here, you're muscling everything, and the tip of the soldering iron is going to move around. Get your palms down on the desk. Bring your work down nice and low. Push it forward a little bit, maybe. Bring your work down nice and low, and always have, in the shooting world, what we call bone support. You want to have as close as possible to the tip of the soldering iron a physical connection. This is less of a lever. This is a lot less work that you need to do. Up here, you have to use your shoulder muscles. You have to use your arm muscles. It's a mess. There's a lot of muscles that are going to make shakes happen if you're trying to do it up here, or if you got, like, the work in some weird situation, you're trying to, like, move the iron around like this. No, the work should be right in front of you. I love having this OmniFixo, like, you know, straight up left to right, but realistically, the way that this work is, I'm just going to rotate this thing, and now the work is right here. So now I can just brace my wrist against the desk here and bring the soldering iron in like this, and now I'm not going to have shaking issues. Bone support, my friends, just like when you're shooting boom boom baby kill guns. Tip number 3, use tweezers, and the tweezers are how you control the wire, not the tip of the soldering iron. The tip of the soldering iron is here to provide heat. That's it. It's not here to move wires around. You're going to have to remove the tip of the soldering iron, and when you do so, if the wire is not being held by tweezers or just your left hand, it's going to come off the pad, or you're going to have a cold solder joint. So the tip of the soldering iron is not for moving wires around. You can use it to flatten wires out, but never use it to hold wires on. All right? Tip number 5, use flux. Flux all the things. My favorite at the moment is flux paste with a little syringe tip. You can also get a flux pen, but this is liquid, and you put the flux pen on and it runs all over the place. It doesn't stay where you need it. This flux... Hang on. Let's get this to focus up. Well, it's probably not going to focus up, so let me give it a little bit more to kind of focus on here. There we go. So you're going to put a nice little glob. All right, I need to use the nerd goggles. This is what the nerd goggles look like. I'll show you in a minute. Wait, no, here. I'll forget to show you in a minute. This is what the nerd goggles look like. Tip number 6. Here's a free tip for you. Get yourself a set of these, unless you have really, really, really good vision. So each little pad here, you're just going to put a little blob of flux. You don't need much, just a little bit. Just bloop and bloop and floop. Do me a favor, somebody type into the chat yellow, black, red. Tip number 7, make notes. Yellow, black, red is the way that these wires need to go. If you don't make a note or take a picture with your phone, it's just annoying, and there's just no reason to not leave yourself a quick note, especially if you're disassembling and then reassembling. So we've got the flux on there. We're going to come in with our tweezers and get control of the wire that we want to remove from this first pad. We're going to come in with the tip of the soldering iron. We're going to touch the flux and the pad. The flux is going to clean everything and transfer the heat very quickly, and that's what we want. We want to get in and out. On there, you can see it go liquid, and then you pull the wire off, and that's it. And now that flux kind of spreads around a little bit, and there's enough on there for when we reattach. So again, touch the flux and the wire, it goes liquid, pull the wire off. Try to keep the other wires the hell out of there. Last one, get control of the wire with the tweezers, bring the heat in, touch the flux, pad goes liquid. Nice and simple. That's all there is to that's all there is to like 90% of the soldering that you're going to do. Sometimes there's some things that can kind of trip you up, but if you use those couple of basic things, it is going to make soldering so much easier for you. As soon as you start skipping those things, like what'll typically happen is you'll do those things, you'll start to learn how to solder, and then you'll start to get somewhat competent at soldering, and you'll start skipping steps. And when you skip those basics, that's when soldering becomes a total pain in the ass. So don't skip those basic things. You're going to want to skip them because it's like, oh, I don't have time for flux. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. Well, look, it's going to save you so much time that... did somebody type black? Somebody typed black and yellow. Yellow, black, red. Thank you, Right9. Yeah, the time that you save from not doing that stuff is going to get offset by the time that you waste when you screw up, and you have to double and triple the work. So, yeah, just do it. Just go about all your little steps, all the basics, and you'll get better quality work done typically quicker. So, well, let's get an all-up weight here. Mobula6 2024 G-string mount and their FXT camera with all of the screws. There you go. 2.53. Do me a favor, somebody type into the chat once I've weighed all these things, all these numbers, so that we have one chat comment with all of these weights. The mount itself with the screws, 0.66, and then just the camera with short wires, very short wires, 1.83. Now we've got, you might as well use this camera that has the bare wires to replace it with. So this is the Runcam Nano 3 meant for the Emax rig. 1.25 grams. So the camera itself with longer wires is going to save us what's that, 5.5 grams? Call it a half a gram. Half a gram lighter for the Runcam Nano 3. A little bit more than half a gram, but let's just say half a gram. And then the canopy is... Do I not have... Hold on. Ugh! Hold on! I got one right here. There it is. Okay. The canopy itself, but this weight does not really matter because we have to add some screws to it. But and we have to add another piece of plastic to it. So yeah, just ignore that number for right now. We also need this piece of plastic, and then we need the two. So for the record, when you buy these ball sack canopies, they come with two different types of screw. It's going to come with two screws that are button head, and then it's going to come with 6 screws that are conical. That's one of the button head screws. That's one of the button head screws. And then you need to use 2 of the conical screws for this piece. So 1, 2. That is all of the screws that you need there. And exactly 1 gram. So this is the full OG Mobula6 canopy setup. 1 gram right on the nose versus the G-string mount, which I forget already, but it's almost certainly lighter. Let's see how much lighter it is. Hey, so we are going to save weight here. So the old school canopy is 0.38, call it 0.4 of a gram heavier, but the new camera is 0.55, call it half a gram lighter. So we're going to end up saving basically 0.1 of a gram, 0.1 something of a gram, almost 0.2 of a gram. Is that right? Yeah, I did that math right? Yeah, I did the math right. We're going to save 0.2 of a gram. Most importantly, though, the reason that we're doing this is for more durability. The fact that we're saving weight is just a total bonus and kind of ridiculous. And we could save even more weight if you look at the length of the wire runs here. This guy has a little bit shorter wires, so I could technically shorten these wire runs up. I'm not gonna, but I could, and I could save another maybe 0.1 of a gram by doing that, but I'm not that worried about it. So there you go. Ball sack is 0.69 by itself. Troy Prelog, thank you, man. 2024, 2.53 total, 0.66 mountain screws, 1.83 camera and wires. Quaput says, my Vision 40 wobbles once I arm it, moves in place, lifts off a tiny bit. During flight, it's wobbly. Any idea what I should look for or how to troubleshoot? Step 1 of any and all troubleshooting is, when did the behavior start? If you ordered it from Rotor Riot and it's been doing this right out of the box, you should email Rotor Riot and say, hey, this thing doesn't fly right. Here's what it's doing. Send me one that does. If it started this behavior when you stacked it into a tree full throttle, then you probably broke something. So you need to try to figure out what you broke, right? Like if you've got a rig that has ever worked and all of a sudden it's not working as well as it once did, the most effective and quickest possible way to troubleshoot is to just look back in time and figure out what on earth happened when this behavior started. That is going to get you through 95% of troubleshoots, because something happened, right? Like something obviously happened, and you need to trace that down. If you don't trace that down, then it could be anything. There's like 100 things that could be wrong, and it's going to be a real nightmare to try to find those things versus, yeah, just figure out when it started and away you go. Drowning Kittens FPV says, just got a crown frame to upgrade my new Mobula 6. seems lighter and flexible than Cockroach V3. It is, I don't think it's actually, well, the frame itself is lighter, but the motor screws that you need to use are heavier. So all said and done, the Cockroach V3 is the same weight, I believe, as the crown frame. The Cockroach V3 is a little bit stiffer, and the ducts are definitely stronger. So I choose that one. But the crown frame is really good. I really dig that frame as well. Jay Hines says, I have a walk snail that I desoldered off of my Vision 40 because I don't have the goggles for it. Would like to donate to you all giveaway. Dude, that's rad. I love that. Message me somewhere and we'll work that out. Quaput says, thanks, I replaced the power wire, but don't know, I just worked on the wire. So, yeah, if you replace the power wire and now all of a sudden it's not flying right, there's your problem. That it has to be that. You've got a cold solder joint, or you've got it bridged to something that it shouldn't be bridged to, or when you put it back together, you sandwiched something in between the frame and the AIO. So yeah, just take a look at all the things that you did when you were changing the power wire, and the problem has to be in there somewhere. You got to make sure that your AIO is not like hard mounted, right? There's these rubber grommets on all four corners, and they're important. You need your AIO to be floating, and then the frame and everything else can vibrate below it. But yeah, you can't have any wires like jammed in between the frame and the AIO. That's going to hard mount the AIO. You can't have that. Let's solder this up first. Where's that message from Riot 9 with the order of the wires? I think it was yellow, black, red. There it is. Yellow, black, red. Yep. Yellow, black, red. All right, let's knock that out, and then we'll mount the camera up. I'm going to have to cut the corners of the... I'll do that now. So let's go here, and I just need... This is just a little piece of plastic they put in the back here. Serves no value. Cut that, and cut that. All right, now that's ready to go. And yellow... What was it? Yellow, black, red? Yellow, black, red. All right, cool. Nerd goggles going on. Soldering tip number 7 or 8. When you put the soldering iron back into the holder, don't clean it. When you take it out of the holder, always clean it. So your workflow with the soldering iron should look like this. You finish up with your soldering, you put it in there, it stays there. If you're done soldering, great, turn it off, it's fine. The residual solder that's on the tip of the iron will actually prevent the tip of the iron from oxidizing. When you take this thing out of the holder, it goes directly into the brass or copper or whatever the hell this is, braid stuff. That's what it looks like. Wiggle it up and down a little bit. That's going to clean the tip of the soldering iron. It's going to be nice and shiny. You can also buy these little tins of like soldering iron tip cleaners. They work pretty good. Put it right in front. Set your shit up like this. Put it right next to each other. So look, come out of here, clean it, drop it into the tip cleaner stuff. Now it's clean. You've got about 30 seconds before it starts to oxidize. That's tip number 7 or 8. Always, always, always use a clean tip of the soldering iron. Makes a huge difference. I'm not ready with the wires, so I'm going to have to clean it again. But I need to get this set up here. There's no reason for me to have that soldering iron in my hand right now. I'm not ready. It's all about the prep. So I've already got some flux on these pads, right? I added it that first time and you saw it kind of spread its way out. Here we go. So you are going to get your work in position first. It is so much harder to do this, for the record, with this camera in the way, but I'm going to try my best. And I know it's not the best view, but it's as good as I can. It's as good as I can give you, and still be able to get the work done. So, I'm holding the soldering iron for no reason right now. It's always tempting to get it out of there, but just leave it. Use both your hands to get these wires set. So with your fine-tipped tweezers, grab up by the tip of the wire and then get it in place. My palms are down on the desk. My fingers are even down on the desk. I want as little shaking as possible, so the more points of physical contact that I can get, the better. Cool? Sometimes I'll even put like the tweezers down on the desk, like the back of the tweezers, I'll put those down on the desk. Anything you can put down on the desk is going to help you out. I think that these wires are pre-tinned. They might not be pre-tinned. I skipped a step. We've got solder on these pads, all right? We want to get some solder on the tips of the wires, which is called tinning. So stick the wires up in the air like this. Clean your soldering iron. Use the tip cleaner stuff real quick if you've got it. Take a little bit of solder in your left hand, and we are going to push solder in between the strands of wire. So you're going to put the tip of the soldering iron on one side, you're going to touch it to the wire, and then you're going to feed solder in from the other side. And now the tip of your wire has a bunch of extra solder on it. This way you don't have to add solder on the board. Second one and third one. And again, the idea is to push the solder in between the strands, the individual strands. On these 30 gauge wires, there are usually like 8 individual strands of wire. And you're just trying to get a little blob of solder on the end of the wire there. This way, there's some solder on the pad, there's some solder on the wire. And so what we can do is just hold the wire up and then touch the tip of the soldering iron, and we've got enough solder between these two. We don't have to add any additional solder here. We've got enough on the pad and on the tip of the wire. That's one of the more important things. Soldering iron being cleaned into the tip tinner stuff. Get it exactly where you want it. Push it into the pad a little bit with your left hand. Bring the heat in. Everything melts. Give it a split second. Take the heat away. Hold it as still as you can. Don't blow on it. Just hold it absolutely as still as you possibly can. That's the most important part. And that's it, my friends. That's all you got to do. Rinse and repeat. Now we're going to grab our ground wire here. I also like to work left to right so that the soldering iron is not crossing over itself. Get the wire where you want it. Apply the heat. And that's it. One more. Do not rush this. As soon as you rush this process, you'll have to do it twice. And that hurts the board, and it takes more time than just doing it right the first time. Get it where you want it. Bring in the heat. Everything melts. Take the heat away. Hold it still. And that's it, my friends. When I started to solder, I had zero experience. I'd never done it once. I did grow up in a house where much soldering was being done. My dad was an electrical technician for many, many years. And he is an amazing solderer. But I had no interest in it growing up, which is just insane, and I'm ashamed. But better late than never. And so, yeah, I had no experience with any of this going in. I've learned to solder from FPV, and I can now do an awful lot of stuff. My dad has looked at how small some of the stuff that we do here, and he's like, yo, that's ridiculous. like you guys are crazy for doing work that's that small. So, yeah, it's not easy, but it's totally doable. And If I can do it, so can you. Sleepy CBR with the $2 super chats. He says, couple bucks for a couple tips. Thank you, brother. There you go, friends. There's 8 or 9 or 7 or however many soldering tips that we just went through. The biggest thing with soldering is to just force yourself to do it. Like, look, there are people that have learned to solder that are way dumber than you. So just do it. Like, it's kind of like driving a manual car. There was a point where all cars were manual and everybody was driving and there were lots of dumb people. And so you can do it. Drowning Kitten says, does CiottiFPV not use a sponge? I don't. I don't like the sponges. My dad does. He recommends using a sponge. I have a sponge over here, but it's like annoying. Like you gotta get it damp, but not too damp, and then it dries out. And yeah, this copper or brass or whatever the hell it is, Brillo pad setup is my preferred go-to. And I've also been told by people that this is less hard on the tip of the soldering iron than a sponge. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm sure that you're okay doing it either way, but I find this to be quicker. Wow, I'm behind on chat. Okay, hold up. Hold up. Jay Hines says, just need help in soldering another analog cam to it. Not familiar with Vision 40 AIO. The Vision 40 AIO should be the T motor. I think it's actually this exact AIO here. No, it's not this one. It's the other T motor AIO. Quaput says, thank you, good sir. You're certainly welcome. Limit says, at what point should I really replace a vibrating motor? 2 are vibrating, but the rig is flying good. I wait a long time. I wait until I have to back the tune off to the point where the rig doesn't fly as good as I want it to, and that's when I replace them. But it's everybody's different, man. You know, if you're not putting the footage up on the internet and you're just flying for you, just run it until it catches on fire, as far as I'm concerned. Danzilla says, thank you for sharing your tip with us. Drowning, we got that. I am Ian Bennett says, what size solder do you use for 30 gauge wire? Great question. My dad is a fan of thinner solder, which I've been using for a while here. I think I actually prefer the bigger stuff. MG Chemicals is all over Amazon, and it's great. This is 22 gauge. It's not too thin. It's not too thick. All solder has a flux core. This one has 2.2% flux. I don't think you can really choose that. I think that's just whatever. Here's the diameter, 0.032. And then this is 6337. This is what you want. You want 6337. Don't get 6040. 6337 goes through like the plastic. It's just better. This is what you want. You want 6337. There's a phase where the solder is cooling, that it goes through like some sort of plasticity, and this solder is better when it comes to that. I never found it necessary to learn exactly what's going on because everybody just said to run this solder and they're all right. So yeah, just do that. Just run. There's kind of no reason to not run 3763. So do it. Just run it. Don't question everything. Don't question me. So we've got the camera soldered up. That's fine. Let me put this into the frame first, and then I will get the canopy on here. I'm not changing anything else, right? BT 2.0 lead is on here. Yeah, we're good. The Mobula6 2024 frame does not seem to have a front, back, left, or right. Well, it's got a front and back. You wanna run your battery front to rear, but it doesn't have a it doesn't seem to have a an arrow to point forwards or backwards or argue about, which is nice. Okay. Well, let me double check that, actually. Let me double check that. Here's the easiest way. So sometimes they will offset the battery tray front to back. And that's kind of nice. A really easy way to check that is to take a BT 2.0 lead and just put it through the opening that you're going to put it through and see if it goes through there easily. Oh. Okay, so they... I mean, you can just like hold it up and just look at the battery tray and see if it's kind of like offset, but sometimes that's kind of hard. Like that looks dead center. But yeah, it feels like that goes through there super easy. When I try to do it on the other side, it hangs up a little bit more. Oh, there's just a little bit of extra plastic here from the mold release, and that's what's doing it. But hey, it goes through this side easier, and so this is the side that I'm going to put the battery lead through. So, battery lead through there, and then motors through here. So this is a good time for you to accidentally break the motor leads off. This is another thing that I hate about direct soldered motors. When you go to do a frame swap like this, it's really easy to break these tiny little 30 gauge motor wires. With the motor plugs, you unplug the motors, and then you don't have this gangly squid hanging down. But yeah, there is a little bit of a weight savings to direct soldering. I'm not willing to do it. The whole direct soldering thing can go to hell for me. But if you're willing to do it, you can save a little bit of weight. The main reason is that it makes changing the motors so much of a pain in the ass that you tend to not do it, and then you run these motors that are beat to hell. Whereas if there's motor plugs, it's so easy to swap the motor out that you'll just swap the motor out and you'll have a rig that flies better. And on a tiny whoop, the motors are pretty inexpensive, so yeah. You can get around that by just not being such a lazy shit like me. But, you know, time is time, baby. If you got the motor plugs, you're going to be, even if you're not lazy, you're going to be much more willing to change a motor out that's starting to get a little rattly. All right, so for these motor screws, they are a pain in the ass. My little workflow is to have my tiny little Weha 261 magnetized. You can buy this. You can buy a little magnetizer, or you can just put the damn thing up against the side of a 5-inch motor overnight, and it'll magnetize. And then so your screws are down on the desk. Pick it up with the magnetism, and then just kind of futz it around, and you can get it into the hole. So you push it down into the hole, and then you pull the tip of the screwdriver away, and then it'll stay in there, and then you can drop it in. Then you can screw it down, I should say. Do not over tighten these. The stator base is very thin metal, and it's very easy to strip it out. So yeah, give them a little tiny bit. This Weha driver, the part that I use to tighten is down here, and it's very, very thin. So it makes it hard to over torque this stuff. It's one of the things that I love about this screwdriver so much. There you go with that. And then do it 3 more times. What's happening, Chad? Oh, I'm not... Hold on. I was not scrolled to the bottom of chat. I missed a whole bunch. Hold up. Asparagus says, is it worth having the BT 2.0 U connector rather than the regular straight one? 100%, 1,000%, 100 times yes, yes, yes. The 180 degree BT 2.0s are incredible. They're way easier to unplug. They're pretty much no weight penalty, and they're way easier to unplug. That's the main thing, is that some of these BT 2.0 batteries are fit very, very tight, and it's a nightmare to unplug. And like if you bring it in at like 2.9 volts with ELRS banging away, you're gonna over discharge that battery when you're struggling to get the damn thing to unplug. So yeah, the 180 degrees are like an essential bit of kit as far as I'm concerned. So get you some. All right. Also, just kind of work your way around with these screws. Don't just tighten them once. Go around at least twice, because as you tighten these, it kind of pulls the motor down into the plastic. Don't do that. And yeah, you'll be able to get a little bit of an extra turn on each one the second time you come around. All right. And here we go. You can get these. So Happy Model sends out these motor screws in this silver color. Newbie Drone and pretty much everybody else, you can get these screws in black. So if you're as insane as I am about your rigs looking good, you're going to want to get you some black ones. And you can get those from Newbie Drone, like I said. Probably get them from damn near anywhere, but Happy Model always ships them in silver, which kind of drives me insane. But the silver does kind of look cool against the clear frame, I guess. Jesus, I got like a whole extra turn in that one. That was weird. I thought I stripped it out for a second there. All right, we're good. And last one. Cold Front and Penguin says, if someone is new to soldering, I always tell them to use 0.3 gauge wire instead of the normal 0.8. Makes it way easier for all builds. Yeah, the thinner wire. What's nice about the thinner solder is you're gonna use less of it. Almost everybody uses too much solder. That was something that my dad taught me really early on in FPV when I asked him to help me. And it's something that like I've always kind of had in the back of my head. So you know, the thicker gauge solder, I just don't like dump it in there. Like I just put a little bit of it. I look for, you know, I work on 5-inch rigs and tiny whoops and everything in between. And so for me, the thicker solder I can use on everything. The thinner solder would kind of be a pain in the ass to put onto like a big thick battery lead on a 5-inch rig. So I would rather have the thicker solder and then just use less of it on a tiny whoop than the thinner solder. Typically, I'm also not adding solder directly to pads sometimes, but yeah. I guess best case is to have both, but I prefer the thicker stuff. That's what she said. All right, there we go. Motors are back in. I like to move the leads out of the way a little bit just so that they're out of the airflow as much as possible. You can kind of put them next to the supports for the ducts. That does actually make a little bit of a difference there, as we can see by the fractal frames being so inefficient and blocking so much thrust. They make a lot less power, get a lot less runtime with them. Kind of wild what a difference it makes on those. We're gonna actually see that in a little bit. Maybe not. It's 8:55 already. Shit. Okay, so now we got to get this RunCam Nano 3 mounted up. The Mobula6 canopy comes with this weird looking little piece, and it goes, there's only really one way for it to go. It goes around the back of the camera, and I got to remove a little bit more. Shitters. Hold on. I got to remove a little bit more of this stupid little piece of plastic back here. Hold up. This is no big deal. Usually, I think this is the only version of this camera that doesn't come with the corners of this piece of plastic already pre-trimmed. You could just remove the whole piece of plastic. It doesn't really accomplish anything. I kind of like it because, God forbid, something metal touches the back of the camera when it's powered up. This could keep it from exploding. So I leave it on here and just trim it down a little bit. There we go. All right, so yeah, this little guy goes on the back of the camera. It's super obvious. There's only one way that it can kind of go. Up in the corners, you're going to run the conical screws through. So again, the Mobula6 canopy is going to come with 2 button head screws and 4 conical screws. The little conical screws go up in the corners. And you would do this exact same thing if you were reusing the FXT camera that the Mobula6 2024 comes with. So you run these guys through the front, screw them into the plastic here. And then this plastic clip is what screws into the canopy, which you'll see in a second. Got this guy tightened up a little bit. Grab your other one. And this goes in the opposite corner. Probably get a little bit of a shorter screw here. These don't need to be quite this long. You probably save another fraction of a gram here. But whatever. I think these are probably just M1.2 screws. All right. So those 2 guys are in there. So now you've got this back plastic piece here. Let me give you a little bit of a better view. You've got this black plastic piece on the back here. And now it's got screw holes on the outside there that you're going to screw into from the canopy here. All right, so here's the trick. You got that piece on. You use the little conical screws for that. Now you've got these 2 button-headed screws. Here's the difference. 2 button heads and 1 conical. There's the button heads. Those go on the outside of the canopy. There's the conical that holds the camera to that little piece that I just showed you. So you're going to take these guys and you're going to pre-run these into the outside of the canopy here. Both of them. So put them through and just thread them in a little bit. One side and then the other. Come on. Get in there. All right. Cool, just screw them in a little bit. And what you want is for them to just be sticking through on the inside just a little bit. You piece of shit, come on. Focus, you asshole. There you go. See how they're sticking through just a little bit? And then what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze this to just bow them outwards a little bit, and that'll let you... It's going to be damn near impossible for me just to show this to you. But, yeah, you're going to squeeze it to bow them out a little bit. And then that will let this guy drop right in there. The wires are on the bottom. Make sure you don't get that wrong. So you come in here, squeeze this guy. And then the outside little bit, you'll see the screw hole. Goes right in on one. And then bring it up and get it onto the other one. Just by squeezing it front to rear to give you a little bit extra room. And there you go. And now that's in there. And now you're just going to screw these guys in. Just a little bit there. I think it just popped off the other side. No, it just popped into the other side. That's cool. And then screw this one in. And that's it, my friends. Those are all the tips and tricks that I have for you on the Mobula6 canopy. You'll be able to figure that out on your own. It was probably not focused the entire time. Write a letter to Logitech that says your webcams are the worst shit ever. And that's that. That's how you put that on. And then the canopy is going to come with a bunch more of these conical screws that you can run down through the canopy into the posts that into the frame posts. So what do I want to do about antenna here? Should I leave this? No, I'm gonna take. Well, maybe I'll leave it. This is the front of the frame here. Nah, I'll leave this antenna. It's fine. It's fine. It's nice and light. I'm going to run the antenna through the second to last hole here in the canopy. Is one of the other really cool things about this canopy is that it's got a really nice little spot for your antenna to peek through. And then this is I replaced the ELRS antenna on this rig. They give you a really stiff piece of wire. I replaced it with a little piece of this newbie drone wire. I was actually trying to save weight, but it was not worth it for saving weight. It's an infinitesimally small weight savings. So just leave the existing antenna that's on there. And then I like to run this ELRS antenna up the front of the canopy here, just to get it as vertical as possible. So we're going to bend that out of the way. And now let's see if the front post will clear everything on this canopy. It's so the video antenna is not wanting to go through. It's a little bit too thick for that part of the canopy. So let me do this. I'm going to run it through the lower hole in the canopy. There we go. All right, so there's that. And then here's the ELRS antenna. This is a little bit fiddly, but I mean, you'll get it. It's fine. Okay, so let's push this ELRS antenna up here. And then I'm just going to grab it and pull on it a little bit. There we go. And just kind of stuff it in there. That's fine. All right. Everything clears. Yep. Nothing's in the way. Cool. So now you're going to take your 4 little conical jobbies, drop it down, and screw the canopy in. And we've got a sort of fully upgraded. I mean, you could swap the motors out, but I've actually been really impressed by the motors on this thing. The weight that this thing is at, these motors feel fine, especially on the Gemfan 1219S tri-blade propellers. These motors have plenty of power. If you really dig the Gemfan bi-blades, you might want to switch the motors out. But yeah, I've been really happy with these motors so far. When you're screwing these into the frame, make sure that you're catching the actual threads. It's really easy to put the screw in between the post and the rubber grommet and not catch the threads. So just make sure that you've got it all lined up just right. Man, this thing looks exactly like all the other rigs now. This was like the one tiny whoop that I had that looked a little bit different, but now it just looks like everything else. And I think I just, yeah, so that went in between the post and the rubber grommet. You can just kind of see it. Sometimes you got to just push it up and over like that. And now it's lined up with the post. There we go. That's better. Don't over tighten these either, because they're just threading into plastic. They're very easy to strip out. Be super, super, super gentle when you're screwing into the posts of the frame. And if they do strip out, frames are only a couple of bucks, not the end of the world. And there it happened again. The screw went into in between the grommet and the post. There we go. There it is. So there, my friends, are all of the upgrades that I think that you should make to your Mobula6 2024 when you hopefully get your hands on one. This canopy is a lot stronger. It's going to save the FXT camera or you can change over to the Runcam Nano 3, which is a great camera as well, and it's going to save you a little bit of weight. Wow, the front one, I have it wrong too. The front one, the screw is in between the grommet and the post. Jesus. That might have been why the other ones weren't lining up right. Ah! Screw fell out. Get back in there. There we go. I can feel it. Mick Mucus says, if your copper antenna gets bent a weird way, does it affect the link? Can the copper antenna short the board if it touches two components? Nah, they coat it, so it's safe. But the more an antenna bends, the worse it's going to work. So always try to keep antennas as straight as possible. That is a thing. Come on, get in there. Even more of a thing, though, is just getting the antennas away from the PCB. That'll make a bigger difference than trying to keep it straight. If you've got the antenna laying completely flat on the PCB, it's not going to work nearly as well as if you can get it elevated at all, as we saw not too long ago in some of the testing that we did. Last thing you want to do is crank these screws on the side of the canopy. These love to loosen up, and when they loosen up, you lose your camera angle. So make sure that these are tight, and at some point you might need to use a little bit of E6000 on them, but you'll be all right. They'll be fine. Kind of wanting to run the so now's when you want to kind of take a look at your wire runs and make sure that there's no wires that are like jammed underneath the camera or anything weird. In this case, I do kind of have that going on, so I'm going to just come in here and pull this video wire up and out just so it's not pushed up against the AIO. And yeah, now we're good. That looks much better. And this is also my chance to go in here and fix this ELRS antenna wire up real nice. There we have it. That's what I want. So yeah, the FXT camera will stick out of this opening here. So if you absolutely perfectly slam something down the middle, you could smash that camera. I doubt that you're going to, though. I bet you'll be totally fine running it. It's most of the collisions are going to happen up on the frame and on the top. Limit. Johnny Kittens with a $10 super chat. He says, thank you for the simplifying tuning strategy. Works fantastic. Everyone deserves healthcare. Thank you, brother. That is very cool of you. Healthcare fund going to 77. Much appreciated, my friend. Let me scroll back up in the chat. Looks like I've missed a bunch. Limit says, isn't that camera cable a bit too long? It is, but I like to leave the camera cables a little bit long now that the Batwing exists, because if I decide to move this thing over to the Batwing camera setup, I'll have enough wire length for it, so it's fine. Also, if I decide to use the camera somewhere else, having the extra length is like, yeah. If sometimes like wires will be way too long and I will shorten them down, but if they're not like absurdly long, I'll usually leave them just in case I need to rework the thing in the future. It definitely saves weight to shorten wires up, that's for sure, but it's not like that much. Like shortening that camera lead up, I might have gained like I might have saved another maybe 0.1 of a gram. I doubt it though. Motor wires are a different story because there's 12 of the damn things. So shortening up motor wires does make an awful lot of sense. But just these 3 camera wires, it's kind of like, I can leave it. It's not that much of a weight savings. And then, shortening them up, you got to cut them, you got to restrip them, you got to re-tin them. For the live streams, I'm trying to move shit along, so I have a tendency to not do that. But if you're min-maxing, do it. If you're min-maxing, run your wire leads really short. It's funny, a lot of pro pilots don't get that nerdy, and they're just like, whatever, yeah, I just run everything as it is out of the box. It's a little bit too heavy, but I spend more time flying, and that's usually the way to do it. Tommy, oh my god, actually, he runs his wires absolutely as short as he can on all of his builds, and I love that. One of his build guides, he said, yeah, I can probably save another 2 grams by shortening these wires up, but I won't do it right now. I'll do it after I'm done with this. I was like, wow, okay. Love that guy. Tommy is the best. Apparently leaded 6040 is almost impossible to find anymore. I did not know that. I mean, Bennett says, just the tip, then pull out. 10-second runtime says, I ended up buying a $10 Beta FPV part kit. Sleepy CBR with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Ended up buying a $10 Beta FPV parts kit just for the clear gummies. You're not the only one who's OCD. That Beta FPV parts kit with those 3 different grommets is actually really nice. The different grommets have a different gap for different thicknesses of PCBs. Ian Bennett says, I treat any screws bolts like lug nuts, always double check for peace of mind. Hell yeah. Grepper says, sorry if I missed it. Are you using the Mobula6 24 versus Meteor 65 frame for testing continuity? What? Are you using Mobula 24 versus Meteor 65 frame for... No. This is the Mobula 2024 frame, just in clear instead of the smoke crotch gray that they ship the bind and flies on. The Meteor 65 frames are not great. The Meteor 65 Air is impossibly fragile, and then the old school Meteor 65 is just a little bit too heavy. The hot frames, in order of preference for me, Newbie Drone Cockroach 65 V3 is the best. This Happy Model 2024 frame, I think, is maybe the second best. And then either tied or third place is the Weebleed FPV Crown frame. Those are the ones. If you're not using those frames, you're leaving some durability or some weight on the testing. CMYK says, FYI, bot stream was early and has ended. What? What happened? Did he have, technical shit? Or did he... Oh, he might, have something going on. Thank you for letting me know. Sleepy CBR with a $5 says 3 for healthcare, 2 for cheeseburgers. So that puts us at 204, and I had cheeseburgers for lunch, so... I had a cheeseburger for lunch, so we're good. I had a steak and shake burger. It's my favorite place. Kevin the Alien says, I'm still running the G-string mount, but I cut a piece of high-density foam that the Mobula6 was packed in. So, Kevin, believe it or not, the problem is not the camera slamming into the AIO. The problem is that I actually don't know what the problem is, but an awful lot of people with the G-string mount and the FXT camera are killing the FXT camera within a couple of batteries. Yeah, I don't necessarily know what the problem is, but there's something about either this camera or this mount that is fragile. And the Mobula6 upside-down ball sack canopy has been infinitely durable, and I don't think I've killed a single Runcam Nano 3 mounted in it. Just the way that this camera is mounted, there's a little bit of shock absorption. The way that this is, I guess there's not. And I guess on a hard hit, it's just dumping all of that G-force into the camera, and it's just breaking it. So, yeah, a piece of foam will not help, I don't think. It might. It's certainly not going to hurt it, but I don't think it's going to help. I don't think it's going to do what you want. What's it weigh? So, Mobula6 2024 moved over to the 180-degree Beta FPV lead, Gemfan 1219S, old school canopy, Runcam Nano 3, very lightweight antenna. Dry. Fuck off. 17.1? Oh my god. That can't be real. No, it's zeroed. 17.1. Holy shit, dude. This is a durable... Like, this is not a build that I've really done much to make lightweight. Like, this is about durability. Let's fly it. Hurry up. Come on. How is this going to fly at 17.1 grams? This is going to be insane. Definitely keep these slightly lower KV motors, because at 17.1 grams, these motors will have plenty of power. I'm back to the HD Zero goggles. Especially now. Man, they look stupid. Look how dumb these goggles look. Look how big they are. Good God, man. Let's bounce it off the walls. CMYK dropping God's link in the chat. Thank you, brother. CMYK also says he had plans to go to. What? Fletcher Schaefer says, what's up? Wow, look at this. So, Jesus, look how bright this camera is. Usually the Runcam Nano 3s aren't quite this bright. But I love that this one is. I'm going to put a memory card in here so that we can get some DVR in case I do something cool. Let's see, if I just put the memory card in while they're powered on, will it start recording? It will! HD0 did a hell of a job on these goggles. This is not a fully charged battery. This is also not the right module for this quad. Hold on. Poor little guy's gonna be hot sitting there. Come on. Come on, ELRS. What? What happened there? I lost video. Why did I lose video? What's happening? What's going on? Little buddy. What are you doing? What are you doing, little friend? What? And it won't... Hold on, let me cycle the power. That might have been a low power until first arm. There we go. Low battery. Hey. Here we go! Oh, God. Okay, yeah, I can tell that it's light. What? What the f... What's happening right now? Where? How is it? What the? For fuck's sake! Come on! Really? It's being held by the oh my God. There's no fucking way that we don't live in the goddamn Matrix. There's just no way. Man, oh my God, this is light, dude. What? Yeah, okay. Hey! I have a little bit... This is a little bit lower of an up tilt than I'm actually used to. Oh boy! I closed my eyes on that one because I thought I was going to hit myself. Oh my God, why do I do it? Why am I so bad? Oh, so close. All right, hang on. Let me get into the zone. Look at it just stop. All right, we're getting there. We're getting in the zone. Oh! Oh, we're in it! I'm adjusting to the lightweightness. Oh my God. Yeah! Get you some! The tune sucks though. Hold on. Yeah, it doesn't suck, but... Hold up. Make the tune a little bit better. Profile, simplify. Let's see if we can push some more D-gain in. Let's do that. D-gain is the main thing that eats prop wash, friends. Hey, we're playing drums! Oh! Oh, yeah! Wow, so I can... Oh, wow, that's really funny. So when I do this, and I let it... So, like, when I generate a bunch of momentum, and then let it slide, I can really feel how light it is. I expect more momentum. Like, so I do a bunch of these moves where like, I'll do shit like that. And I'm used to rigs that are like 18, knocking on the door of 19 grams. And yeah, there's a definite difference in like the sort of the throw almost of this thing. That's kind of wild. So 235 runtime, that doesn't mean anything. This is a half-dead battery. Let's run an actual full battery through this real quick here. Wow, that's light. Jesus, that's light. I am... This is twice now that I've been blown away by the difference in flight feel from this specific rig being... I've not had a build below 18 grams before. I've had one that was like 18.1, I think. But, man, this is really light. So, in theory, I'll really be able to feel it up here. And we can look for Teddy, who has a new haircut. Where is that dog? There he is. Look at this German dog. Look how German that haircut is. Oh, yeah, buddy. Mr. Tough Stuff, Teddy Spaghetti. Look at that hot dog, too. It's as big as him. Come on, buddy. Chase it, chase it, chase it, chase it, chase it, chase it. Oh, God. Ah, man, I can't fly up here with the lights off. I wish I could. I'll try. Wow, it really floats. Oh, my God, Maggie is the greatest. She knows. She knows. Hello, Tedward. Oh, boy. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Chase me. Chase me. Chase it. Chase it. Chase it. Come on. No, he's going to go with... Yeah, he's going to run away from it. So. Wow. These are only 28,000 kV motors. How the hell... This is not going to be a good runtime battery because I'm just mangling the throttle up here. Whew! Look at it! And it's not prop washing at all with that little bit of extra D-gain that I added in. The move that we were doing to test the durability was wall ride, wall ride, wall ride, and then, oh boy, it's you got to get this last wall ride deep. Okay. You got to get this last wall ride all the way up here, because we were then corkscrewing down the stairs. Yeah, that was pretty clean. Yeah, that's what we did to test the durability on this thing. And I missed that corkscrew dive about 1,000 times. Oh my God, this thing flies great. Okay, that's not gone well. Where am I? Oh boy, where am I? I can't see shit, dude. I'm moving my head around to try to get a little bit of signal here. Oh, I see light. I see light. Oh, I'm behind the thing. And look at ELRS hanging in there. Hold on. I can get out of here. We can do this. Shit! Oh, now I flipped over. I think. Yeah. We're good, we're good. Get out of there! Wait. There's daylight. A little bit of daylight. Oh, we got it! That must have been brutal for you guys. I was looking at that through rapid fire, and it was rough. Big old fan. Ooh. This is the fan on its lowest setting. Let's see what... Let's see if I can match the speed of the blades. I was really hoping that this big-ass fan with 8 blades would spin slower than this. Nah, man, see, that's a little too fast. Man, is it trippy when you match it up just right, though. Hold on. Let's do it. Ah, almost there. Let's do it on a whole battery. Let's do a full battery trying to match that fan. Woo! Yeah, there is significantly less mass to do a lot of the weird like momentum based stuff that I'm used to doing. That's crazy. I've not noticed that before. This is the first time I've really noticed that. But Jesus, 17.1 grams is really, really light. Can you motor limit the fan, Denzel says. CMYK says, put a streamer on the whoop. He'll chase that. He will indeed. He'll eat the hell out of the streamer. All right, we're going to go up and try to match speed with that fan. Unfortunately, the fan is spinning in the direction that I'm very weak on my orbits with. So you're going to get to see, yeah, not super locked in orbits. But I'm going to try my best. And it's good practice. I can't imagine this thing with like 30,000 or 32,000 kV motors. Oh, Jesus. Really? Let me make sure that the video... No, you guys' video is good. All right, here we go. All right, let's get locked in. It's so much easier to do orbits. Oh! 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 It's so much easier to do orbits in this direction. Oh, God. Them blades is spinning. All right, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Get it locked. Get it in. Okay, let me just... Ah! It's so difficult. I'm sure there's turbulence, too, that I'm also kind of dealing with. Oh, I'm using so much throttle to do this. Oh, it's the trippiest thing ever. Woo! Jesus. Oh, let me do it with the. I wonder what my throttle percentage is at. It's got to be high. I'm just pushing more and more and more. Let's do it again. Get in there. Oh man, it's so difficult. Jesus. Oh my God! Come on. It's so cool. It's just the coolest looking thing ever. I tried to power lift through that. Wow, the video is really struggling. What do I have it set on? Let's see. VTX 4. What? No, 25. What's that star 14 up there? Is it set to 14 milliwatts? Is that what I'm seeing? Now it's set to 20? What? Let's see if that's any better. Oh my God, that's way better. Oh my God, what? I wonder what power it was set to before. Get out of here. Whew, man, that fan is booking, dude. I can't even, like... I feel like I was 80% throttle. I guess I wasn't. Was I? I don't know. I couldn't... Hold on. Right-handed orbits are so difficult. Why are they so much more difficult? There's 60% throttle, and I wasn't even keeping up with it. Ah! Oh, boy. All right. Let's do some actual freestyle stuff. It's just... Is that cool to watch? It's cool for me to try to do it. I don't know if it's not that cool to watch, though. I'll stop doing it. Crash recovery. Helping me out a little bit there. Don't you dare! Don't you dare get stuck under there. Thank you. That little lazy backwards throw. Oh, screw you, Newbie Drone Gate. How you going to do me like that? Over and over again! It's 3 times in a row the Newbie Drone Gate ate my face. Oh, this battery's done. 3 minutes and 11 seconds with all that mega throttle trying to chase the fan. Jesus. CMYK says match and perch it. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. We played that game on the old fan that spun significantly slower than this one, and it was impossible on that. It's just not... It's not gonna happen. It's fun to try, but yeah. Oh, here he is! Hold on. Wait till you see this little... I don't even know. I don't even know what to call him anymore. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Yes! Look at the most handsome... I don't think he's that handsome, but this is a proper schnauzer cut. This is what schnauzers are supposed to look like. I prefer him in ultra shaggy mode, but hey, that's just me. But yeah, this is a classic schnauzer cut. Nice and short back here, and then it's like long down on the bottom. Short up top, party on the bottom. But he's not all shaggy like he was, man. I like him when he's super shaggy. Look at those ears, though. Look at those razor sharp ears. And then you leave that big old beard. He's looking right at me. He's looking right at me. This will look good when it grows out. I can't wait to see how shaggy his belly and his arms get when it grows out. That's the funny thing about this schnauzer cut. Woo! 58 throttle on the fan spinny. Nice, thanks, Robert. All right, let's do full tilt, just banana pants basement freestyle time. Got to get them 6 batteries in, friends. Fly 6 batteries. I know you've been slacking and not doing it. Stop it. 6 batteries a day will keep the doctor away. Here we go. 1 or 2 more batteries on this guy.
Low battery.
This camera looks really good. I'm happy with it. The basement is very violet. Hold on. Let me change the lights in the basement. I'm gonna change these lights to daylight, and this will kind of sort of simulate what it would be like to fly this outside. Not really, but here you go. Oh! Wish I hadn't left that bathroom door open. Oh my god, I closed my eyes on that one. Oh yeah, on a fresh battery, these motors rip. Oh no! If you're seeing a little bit of jello sometimes, that started happening after the big durability test session. These motor shafts are just bent. Like, all of those crashes took a toll on these motors, and the motor shafts are just a little bit bent. They're not so bent that I can't get a good PID tune. It's just every once in a while, at like 31% throttle or something like that, there's, yeah, just a little tiny bit of jello. Oh shit, that hit me. You can see it there. Woo! That's the big one! Hey! What you know about that? Oh yeah, here we go. We're flying okay! We're flying okay. Let's crash. Let's stop flying okay and start crashing a lot. Ah! No! Why would I run into my own damn leg? Well, I was flying okay.
30 seconds.
Missed it. Oh my god. Oh, a big power loop. Oh, with the correction mid-air. Come on. Oh, the Stig helmet got me. The white Stig helmet got me. Oh boy, rejected. Just like when I was at college. Oh, I was going to try to do a little Matty flip dive thing. I'll try it again. When you get stuck under something like that, do what I just did. Watch this. Let's do a little cold cut combo. Oh, okay. Cold cut combo coming at you. Fuck! Let me through! Let me do the Ciotti loop, damn you. Ciotti loop. Stop it! I named it after myself. Let me do it. You fucking bastard. How can I hit? the 1.5 inch thick part of the gate 4 times in a row rather than going through the 2-foot hole in the gate. Here we go. Fuck! We'll try it again.
5, 4, 3.
You! Oh, that gap is so good. I get carried away when I shoot the gap and I forget to fly out of it. See, I'm not looking ahead. I'm just looking at how cool the gap is. What? Ah, I started bouncing. Yeah, I gotta go through there. No! No, Simrig, leave me alone! Ooh, this battery's done. Okay, here we go. Here we go. One more. Radio is just counting down the timer. I usually have the volume turned down a little bit more. I don't even notice it anymore. Ali Abaz with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, dude. No comment, just supporting the madness. Thank you, man. Very cool of you. It is very difficult to do FPV full-time. I greatly appreciate everything that all of you guys do. Join the Patreon, click the thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell. All that stuff helps. Buy something from my Etsy store, work one-on-one with me through Fiverr, or just message me and we'll schedule it. Loads and loads and loads of different ways that I can help you have more fun in this hobby and not waste money. And you can help me keep doing this full-time. It's very cool. I really appreciate it, friends. Kevin the Alien says, where did you get this RunCam Nano 3 from? I believe Getfpv. This is the Emax Nanohawk version. It doesn't come with a connector. Okay, let's just reset here. And we'll go crash some more. Great! Oh my god, I can't believe it had enough momentum to go through there. Oh! That was a close one. Oh wait, there's that one, what's that one move that I did last week that was really cool? Was it up? Oh, it was that! That was it! Oh, that looks cool! Damn, hold on. Oh god! I did it wrong that time. Hold on, let's try it again. Here we go. Oh, that's dope. I mean, that was a little sloppy, but... Oh! It almost went in between the goddamn gap and the monitors. What? I like that one, man. Deep over here. And then throw it like that. Yeah! Whoa, God, this thing flies so fucking good. It's so light. Hey! Oh, no! Get out of there. Get out of there. It makes this space feel bigger because it's so light. And that's really important for doing a lot of this shit that we're trying to do here. There are moments where I miss the little bit of extra momentum of the Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoops at like 18 point something grams. But damn, is this good. And this is easier to fly. This lighter weight is definitely easier to fly because of less momentum, all this shit that we always talk about. The ground effect just... I didn't change the throttle at all. The ground effect just pulled me up into the bottom of the coffee table there. The coffee table power loop is outrageously hard. I know it doesn't look that hard, but it is absurdly hard. It's one of the hardest tricks in this room, actually. It's so tight on the bottom of this, and the ground effect... when you're under this coffee table is just nasty. Oh boy. Yikes! That yaw authority is something else on these really high KV, light ass tiny whoops. Oh! Oh my god! That stall was huge. Get out of here. Get right out of town. See if I can shoot the monitor gap. Yay! Yo! Where did you go, little guy? What'd you go all the way over there for? Wow, man. This thing is ridiculous, dude. 17.1 grams with tri-blades. Wow. Yeah, okay. Happy model. Again. Great job. Great job. Scotty Scott says, funky socks there. Maggie won these socks at a work-related convention she went to a couple of weeks ago. Limit says some peak screws would get it to 16 grams. Still 17.1 is really great. Are you using the YOLO props on it? I'm not. I'm using the slightly heavier Gemfan 1219S. YOLO props would probably put it right on 17, but the YOLO props don't have as much pitch and don't make as much power as these 1219S's. These propellers on these 28,000 kV motors jam. These are the most thrusty of the lightweight props, and I really dig it. It really wakes up these slightly lower kV motors. Last battery, my friends! Let me go to... I'm going to change the lighting in here one more time. I'm going to go from daylight to incandescent. And there you go, with incandescent. So now when I point towards my little studio area here, it's going to be daylight balanced. And then it's going to have to adjust because the rest of the room... Although that did not change. Why did that not change? That changed back there. Maybe it did. Hold on. Let me just double check the... Just push the button again. Basement warm, basement warm, basement chill, basement warm. Actually, here. I'll bring the intensity of the lights down a little bit. That'll be a good test. So it'll have to adjust. The back here, as you can see, it's super bright. So it's going to have to adjust both in white balance and in intensity, and the rest of the room here is kind of dimly lit. The rest of the room is lit in a way that like you would want to hang out and watch TV now. So, ooh, yeah, it has a really hard time. So when I come around this corner and I point it directly at these really bright studio lights, it then, see that? Pretty much any camera is going to do that. Like the room is kind of dim, and then the studio lights are really bright. So like the exposure algorithm is going to do that. You want that. But yeah, just some food for thought there. That could have been a lot cleaner. Oh, I can't believe I didn't crash. Oh. Where is it? Where is it? It's up high. Oh my god, it's stuck in the blinds. That's the weirdest crash ever. Look at this. It was stuck in there. That's wild. Put it right there. Take it back off. Oh man. And you know, this frame being a little bit lighter, with this thing being down at like 17.1 grams, that's pretty cool. That's gonna help this frame live longer. Wow, what's happening here? Did this camera just shit the bed, or the VTX shit the bed? What's happening? Hold up. Did I lose the antenna or something? What's going on? Nope, antenna's still there. Is it not plugged in? It's still plugged in. What? What's going on, little friend? You're unhappy. You're very obviously unhappy. Look at those diagonal lines. What? Hold on, let's power cycle it. First things first. Did you try turning it off and on again?
Telemetry off.
No. What? In my goggles, it's really dark. Not as dark as it is on the stream, but what the hell? What happened? I'm also getting a lot of static. Like, I feel like the VTX might have just shit the bed on this AIO. Stop! Leave me alone. That was not a very hard crash into the... Oh, man, there's something really weird going on. Reds are all blown out. Hold on, let me try turning my goggles off and on again. This is a goggle issue. Because it looks kind of fine on the stream. Did you guys see it change when I started bitching about it? My module might have popped out. Hold on, let's see. No, it still looks terrible in the goggles. It's not an overheating problem. Let me make absolutely sure that the antenna is still plugged in. It is. Wow, something happened, yo. Either the camera or the VTX have, and now my goggles are freaking out. I think it's the VTX. I think the VTX on this AIO just gave up the ghost. Shit. Well, I mean, we did abuse this thing pretty horrendously. Yeah, like I'm an inch away and my goggles are losing. Oh wow, now it's blacking all the way out. Hold up. Let's see if there's any change now, and there's not going to be. That's fine. Okay, yeah, it's bad in OBS too. Wow, weird, man. I think it happened when oh man, this is not flyable for me. Whoa, wow. It happened when it went into the blinds, which is weird because that was not a super hard crash. Hold on. Let me plug another rig in to isolate whether or not it's these goggles or not. Okay, here is. Well, no, this rig looks like shit. Hold on, let's plug this one in. All right, let's see. I think there's something going on with my goggles. No. Yeah, you can see it there too. Oh, it was low power until first arm. Nope, yeah, goggles are fine. Shit, man. Well, I wanted to break it to see how long it would last, and it would appear that I've succeeded. It shouldn't be the solder joints. Could be. Let's poke the solder joints and just make sure that they're okay. I'm going to do it while it's powered on. Let me know if you guys see a change. That's the ground. There. I'm sorry, that's the video there. Ground. Power. Anything change? Probably not. And then on the back of the camera, let's poke those as well. Hold on. There we go. Okay. There's power. There's ground. There's video. Anything? Any better? No. Whoops. I just put it into negative up tilt, or also known as down tilt. Wow, okay. Oh, did I fix it? Video wire. Oh, shit. All right. Yep, we're back. Woo, shit. I hear a teddy running. I hear a bad doggy running around. Let's investigate. All right, so I got to resolder that video wire, I guess. Where is he? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's playing with his alien. Yay! Oh my god, I can't see anything! I think it's because I turned the VTX down a little bit. Hold on. Yep. Kick it back up to 100. Wow, it's the video wire. Okay, so I thought that's... I didn't, you know, I didn't inspect my work. I didn't look at the solder joint. I just... where'd that dog go? I just assumed it was okay, so I need to go in there and fix that. That's super annoying. Look at the most handsome boy in all the land. Yo, look at all this nice hardwood floor. Ooh, we can do stuff like this. Ready? Yoo! Tedward Spaghettward, where did you go? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, we ain't making it home. Oh, boy. At least try to get it down the stairs. Oh, shit. I don't know. Fall down the stairs, you shit! Nope, 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 nope. 3.1 is way too low. Interesting. Hold on, let me read chat, because you guys were... Hold on. You guys were able to see what the hell was happening when I was poking stuff, so I'm assuming that... Frank Nicholas says, power on back of camera caused brief static. Interesting. Huh. I'm not outputting through the goggles. Now I have a separate VRX. So that's what we're thinking, friends. It was the power cable on the back of the camera, or was it the video line on the... I mean, it's fine now. I guess I can just wait until it gets shitty again. But, yeah. Wow, it's almost 10 o'clock. I gotta shut this down, yo. I told Maggie I was gonna hang out with her tonight. I'm the worst. Thanks for hanging, friends. I gotta put this battery directly on the charger because I massively over-discharged it. Yeah, 3.2. I probably hurt that battery. Lines went away with the video on the AIO. Okay. Rolls over the neighbor's dog. What? Thanks for hanging, friends. I don't have the right scene up. Thanks for hanging, friends. I love you. Bye! No, I'm not. Come on back Sunday, and we'll do some more stuff. What are we going to do Sunday? I don't know. We'll do some stuff. Maybe I'll go to the RC Drift guys hang out Sunday around noon. So maybe... Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll probably hit them up Sunday. Man, this thing flies good, though. Jeez, 17.1 grams dry. I will fix that. Let me check my work now. Nah, that looks totally fine. Huh. The video solder joint looks completely fine. Maybe it is the solder joint in the back of the camera. Huh. Weird. On the back of the camera, they have liquid electric tape, so I can't see if it's bad. But something's definitely going on. It's working fine now, though, so I'll just run it until it starts to screw up again, and then I'll pull it apart. But I'm not just going to pull it apart yet, because I try not to take this stuff apart all that often. Thanks for hanging, my friends. CiottiFPV.com. Support your boy. We'll keep hanging out forever. Bye-bye. Wait. this is the first battery of the day, flying the Batwing rig. Just absolutely being so... I still can't believe how good this flies. It's ridiculous. Check it out. This is the first time I really flew it. Ignore the super dark video. That's the AIO shitting the bed. I'm going to let pretty much this whole thing play. This whole battery play. My God, it is so dark. God damn it. I got to switch this AIO. Oh, I can't wait to take this fractal rig apart. Be good, friends. Bye-bye. See you Sunday.